Hey there folks, this is Excel Super Nerd here to teach you some Excel and VBA goodness like you can only learn here. I've got here a big list of values I want to load into a list box. Now here's some states on the right, on the left I just auto loaded from 1 to 51, make the cell value nippon plus I. Now with a single select, it's easy to put that in F6 here. If I change it, it changes, and I've got a button here that does this, and it selects the value from the index. You can also make this a cell formula. You can go if 1, then be nippon 1. You kind of got to hard code that, so it might be nicer to do that with VBA. Well, here's the problem. What happens if I've got a multi-select? This is linked to a cell, but nothing's happening because it's not a single select. So nothing goes in here. How do I get something out of here? What's the whole point, right? Instead of being visual. I found online how to do this with ActiveX controls. I didn't find a way to get this with form controls. Would love a response to that. But you basically look for the value listbox.selected, and I basically iterate through for I equals 1 through length of listbox, items or whatever. Check to see if this item is selected, and if so, you can make an array of the indices that are selected in this multi-select list box. Got a little button there to change selection mode, so I can go from single to multi to I forget. One's just you click on each one and it selects them. Other ones you got to hold Control and Shift to select more than one. Is there a way to do this without VBA or macros? What if you want to distribute this in your organization and you don't want to tell multiple people to change their macro security settings? Here I just made worksheets to go with all of these values. What I would really like to do is, if I select more than one of these multi-select values, I want the worksheet tab on the bottom to highlight. What I want to do is I have a audit form where I've got questions pertaining to states where your policy is held, and so I want the user to be able to fill out the first sheet, select the states that your policy pertains to, and then based on that highlight the other worksheets that you need to fill out. Again, if you're going to distribute this in your organization, it'd be nice to do this without VBA code. I haven't figured out a way to do that. I'd love some feedback on this. But in the end, you can always get a trusted VBA digital signature. Unfortunately, you can't really do that with the self-cert executable that comes with Excel. You can Google that, self-cert.exe. Kind of got to pay somebody to do that, VeriSign or one of those services that takes your money and allows you to run macro content as trusted. And make sure you don't write a macro virus in there. Here I'm just showing you no success. I made a certificate prior to this with self-cert.exe. Overwrite changes, and thing about this is you have to load the values into your list box each time you open the workbook. When you close, it doesn't save the values in the list box, so you got to write something in your workbook open event that's going to load values. You could probably hard code that in VBA, but I've chosen to store them in cells and load it from some cell range. Got any questions? Feel free. This is to Mike Gerson's YouTube. Excel's fun. Comment, subscribe.